You didn't get the memo about the tuxedos?
You didn't get the memo about not the tuxedos.
That's it. We're breaking up.
That's it. It's the end.
We're going to be in the history books like Martin and Lewis. Tell them why we're here.
So welcome to the 2024 VVA Awards Banquet, a tradition that goes back to the 1987 National Convention and has continued every year since. And many of you know this, but it's worth repeating. Vietnam Veterans of America is the only American veterans service organization that recognizes veterans and others who support veterans and their families with awards for excellence in the arts, excellence in the sciences, and for supporting the troops in Vietnam. We're happy to hand over the microphone and the emceeing duties tonight to a professional entertainer, a Vietnam War veteran, and a veteran Hollywood character actor and storyteller, and a life member of Vietnam Veterans of America. After being drafted in the U.S. Hold on a second. Are they applauding because we're not emceeing?
Probably.
Okay.
After being drafted in the U.S. Army, he put a 16-month tour of duty in Vietnam War with the 25th Infantry Division, 1968 to 1969. Since moving to Los Angeles in 1979, he has appeared in scores of TV shows, including L.A. Law, Cheers, Hill Street Blues, Twin Peaks, and Night Court, and countless movies such as Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, Article 99, Under Siege. That's my favorite. I rented it so many times, my wife finally bought me one. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Black Dahlia.
Dahlia.
I tried to take that out and he kept putting it in and knew I couldn't say it. Demolition Man. He's best known for his recurring roles as Motor Pool Sergeant Bob Pepper in China Beach, as Frank Martin in ER, and Detective Beryl Johnson in the Amazon Prime series Bosch.
In recognition of his distinguished career and his longtime support for his fellow Vietnam War veterans, he received the VVA Excellence in the Arts Award at the 2003 National Convention in St. Louis. And he volunteered to emcee the awards banquet right here on this stage at 05 National Convention here in Reno, and at the 2018 Leadership Conference in Palm Springs. Please welcome the emcee tonight for tonight's awards banquet, the one and only Troy Evans.
Oh, man. There's a couple of nice guys there. First, I feel compelled. I've looked around the room and I feel I owe you all an apology for not dressing a little more formally, but I have to tell you it's a family tradition that no one in my family has worn a tie since my grandfather was hung. My mother hated that joke. You know, I just being here in Reno, I have to tell you, I flew up from LA yesterday, and this sort of sums up Nevada real clear. We landed at the airport, and we're getting off the plane, and there was a couple in front of me, married couple, maybe in their 40s. And we get off the plane and they get about 15 feet from the plane, and the guy turned to his wife and said, "Sarah, you know that $500 I told you not to give me, give it to me." He didn't last a minute, not 1 minute. I just have one other, and maybe it's just me, maybe nobody else even bothered this or noticed this or cares about it, but do you guys know what Burning Man is? And apparently there's a Burning Man going on here right now. And so I've had a nice time the last couple of days. I just sit in the lobby and look at the crowd going through there. And apparently, I've never gone to a Burning Man, but apparently it's like a music and culture festival in the desert, and their goal is to make Woodstock look like a Baptist picnic. And what I loved about it is watching these Burning Man people came through, made us funky old Vietnam vets look pretty damn good. So, oh man. Well, now I am told that Thomas Burke is going to make a special presentation. Let's give him a little applause.
It's good to see all you happy faces out there. Yes, you are there. Okay. I have a certificate here that has the name of Dr. Molly McGaw. Would you please come up? Dr. Molly has become known to us over the last couple of years, and she has done many educational seminars across the country. And she has done them in North Carolina. She has done them at our last get-together. And she has done it this year. And she talks about something called aging veterans. I can't imagine who they are, but we're working on it. Anyway, Molly, we would like to present you. This certifies that Dr. Molly McGaw is an honorary life member of the Vietnam Veterans of America.
I'm supposed to say hi and goodbye, but I want to just quickly tell you a quick little story I've told a few people here this week. When I graduated from medical school, my father looked me in the eyes, and the only 2 times I've seen him have tears in his eyes. And he looked at me and he said, "Pretty good. What you guys have here as a community that you just welcomed me into your community is pretty good."
You know, there were hundreds of largely unsung stewardesses who volunteered to serve on the Pan American World Airways charters in and out of Vietnam. And they also served on those scheduled flights hundreds of times. Many of them flew for years and spent significant amounts of time in the war zone. Wasn't uncommon for them to find themselves under fire as the planes were landing or taking off. Tonight we're honoring a Pan American World Airways stewardess who volunteered to fly in and out of Vietnam in '66 and '68 during the height of the attacks on the R&R flights. She says, "Those years were the most rewarding in all of my years with Pan Am. The Vietnam Veterans of America is proud to present the President's Award for supporting the troops in Vietnam to Claire Christensen." And presenting this award are VVA President Jack McManus and distinguished past President John Rowan. Oh, you made it up here.
Vietnam Veterans of America President's Award for supporting the troops in Vietnam to Claire Christensen, presented August 24, 2024. Claire, congratulations, and thank you for all you did for us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
This is beautiful. I'm so proud to accept this on behalf of the hundreds of other stewards, stewardesses, and flight attendants that volunteered their services during Vietnam. It makes my heart warm to know that I was able to accept this on behalf of everyone. And I just have a couple of questions to ask. Is there anyone in the audience that's over 75 that might have been in Vietnam in 66 to 68?
Yeah, not everybody, yeah.
And that might have taken a flight to Southeast Asia on a Pan Am flight? Well, do I look familiar? Well, I know I've changed a little bit. My hair has turned white. I just had a hip replacement and I turned 90 2 weeks ago. So if I'd have to walk up and down an airplane aisle these days, I need either crutches or a walker, I'm afraid. And I saw some pictures of me that were taken during the time of Vietnam, which is good because you'd never recognize me now. But I saw the picture that was put in the magazine that was taken in 1956 when I was a new stewardess, and I wondered where they got that picture. I didn't know that pictures taken that long ago lasted that long. I don't even have one. It must have been a daguerreotype. And then the picture in tonight's program, I don't know where you got that. I had that taken on a cruise ship about 12 years ago. The photographer took that picture at dinner one night, and I thought it was the most flattering picture I'd ever had taken. So I bought it and put it with my last will and testament, and it's to be my obituary picture. And here it appeared tonight. Well, anyway, when I started flying for Pan Am in 1956, it was a job that every girl in the world wanted because we flew to all the capitals of the world and were pampered, and we stayed in the best hotels, and it was wonderful. Passengers dressed up for their flights in suits and hats and furs and gloves. And nowadays I hear that, people fight with the flight attendants, they fight with the crews, they wear pajamas on the flight, so that's strange to me, but I hear it's true. But when I went to fly in Vietnam, it was so wonderful. I met all of you when you were young. You were 17, 18, and 19 years old, and I fell in love with every one of you that I met. The flights out of Vietnam, when we picked the soldiers up right out of the fields, it seems, they were so jubilant to be going on their R&Rs, talking about what they were going to do, and they got there and they were so excited. And then when we took them back after their R&Rs were over, a week or 10 days later, the flights were so quiet. They were all sleeping and they'd had such a good time, and some of them stayed awake and shared their pictures with us of what they'd done. And I have never met so many fine young men, and I thank you all so much. But I feel that getting this award for taking care of you for 3 or 4 hours on your R&R flights isn't right, and you should all be getting the awards because you took care of us and all Americans every day of your careers in the Army and the Marines and the Navy. And I'm so proud of all of you, and we can't thank you enough for taking care of us. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I have to say this has been a week when there have been a lot of really good speeches made, and I think that was one of them. Let's give her one more round of applause. I think that was excellent. Now this next award goes to a VVA life member who served in 1969-70. His tour of duty was as a flight operations coordinator in the 147th Assault Helicopter Company. He teaches history and political science at Rogers State University in Oklahoma. He's a poet. He's an author of 2 books, and the best known is What Should We Tell Our Children About Vietnam? And this is such a remarkable story. He wrote this book because he was preparing to teach a class on Vietnam War history at Pryor Junior High in Oklahoma. To prepare for it, he sent handwritten letters to veterans, writers, politicians, military leaders, and asked what became the title of the book. He asked the question, what should we tell our children about Vietnam? His book ended up with 128 of these replies that included replies from Jimmy Carter, Barry Goldwater, Henry Kissinger, Timothy Leary, Bob McNamara, Tim O'Brien, Admiral Jim Stockdale, Oliver Stone, General William Westmoreland, Kurt Vonnegut, Caspar Weinberger, and former National VVA President Mary Stout. Remarkably, What Should We Tell Our Children is still in print. His 2017 book, The Smell of the Light, is a highly praised collection of 106 poems that chronologically cover his year in the Vietnam War. He's also a prolific contributor to the VVA Veterans Magazine, Books in Review page, specializing in fiction and poetry. His awards include the 21-22 Adjunct Faculty Teacher Award from Rogers State University School of Arts and Sciences, Making USA Today's 1988 People Who Make a Difference list, and the George Washington Honor Medal for Excellence in Public Communications from the Freedoms Foundation at Valley Forge. Vietnam Veterans of America proudly present the 2024 Excellence in Arts Award to Bill McLeod.
There are 350,000 tons of bombs and mines still remaining in Vietnam. They are waiting, biding their time. More than 100,000 Vietnamese have been killed or injured since America left. 18 million gallons of defoliant were sprayed in 20,000 missions in country. Because of my exposure to Agent Orange, Uncle Sam pays me $740 a month. And I am waiting, biding my time. I want to thank Mark Leipson, Troy Evans, the distinguished officers of this organization, the staff at the VVA Veterans, the leadership of the Vietnam Veterans of America, as represented by all the people in this room, for presenting me with this award, which I'll accept on behalf of all the other veterans that are out there writing about their experience. Before I began writing poetry, back in 1988, I was one of the first people to develop lesson plans for teaching the Vietnam War at middle school or junior high school grade levels to the youngest students. A few years later, I decided to get more personal and took 52 letters that I had written home and turned them into my book of poetry. Because that's how I express myself. I started with one that was very simple, very basic. It's called Off to War. Standing by the plane as we said goodbye, we hugged and looked each other in the eye. A mom and dad, a boy by their side. We chuckled and laughed with grins a mile wide. But the truth was something we tried to hide. My mom kissed my cheek, but it was my dad who cried. My dad figures in a later poem called Air Medal. The only medal I received during the war, other than routine ones, was an air medal. 25 aerial missions over hostile territory. I got it in 1969, and in 1985, I placed it inside my dad's coffin just before they closed the lid. My mom had wanted me to come home with all her heart. So had my dad, but I think he also wanted me to be brave. The medal always meant more to him than anyone else, so I let him take it with him, along with my love. And a short one that was studied earlier this year at the Air Force Academy in Professor Ross Gresham's class. He sent me photographs of the cadets studying this poem. It's called At the Wall. It was me in the rain, at night in the rain, at the wall in the rain. No school kids, no volunteers, just me and 58,000 stories. And all I remember is the rain. I want to dedicate the receiving of this award to my late mother, who in her own way was also a veteran of the Vietnam War, as were the parents of all of us. And finally, as I ponder the realization that we are a last man standing, a last person standing organization now, I realize that at least that last person will be a brother or sister of mine, and that works for me. Thank you.
You know, I don't know if any of you followed the basketball in the Olympics. But, you know, when Steph Curry delivered that fantastic three-point shot that sealed the gold medal, and then he made this gesture. Well, I'm making it here for Bill. That puts it to sleep, doesn't it? I want to add one other thing. If you want to be Bill's friend for life, tell him that he reminds you of Sam Elliott. Our next award goes to a prolific singer, songwriter, and actress who joined the Bob Hope Christmas Tour in Vietnam in 1971. During her long, storied show business career, she has appeared in countless movies and TV shows, including Forrest Gump, Moonlighting, The Tonight Show, The Merv Griffin Show, The Dean Martin Show. She toured with George Burns, Rodney Dangerfield, Don Rickles, and of course Bob Hope. She has also appeared in at least 150 commercials, including for Sanyo, Dodge, AT&T, and Chrysler, and she continues to record and perform today. Last year, she was inducted into the Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame and had smash hits with her songs "The Way of a Woman" and "The Girls in Love," which was a number one country music hit. Her album, the one she's been waiting for, is dedicated to her father, who paid the ultimate price serving World War II, and to all military families who've lost loved ones in the service. Let's take a second here and go back to the Bob Hope Christmas Tour in 1971.
Here's our canary, Jan Daly, with Screaming Eagle PFC Freaks. He should have paid you today. What a reaction.
Where do I begin? Tell the story of how great a love can be. A sweet love story that is full of fantasy. Simple truth about the love you bring to me. Where do I start?
The Vietnam Veterans of America proudly presents the 2024 President's Award for entertaining the troops in Vietnam, and we see why, don't we? Jan Daly.
Thank you. Now you made me cry watching my own videos. Okay, first of all, bear with me because I get very emotional. So anyway, I'm just honored and proud to be among these recipients of your award, your prestigious award. And entertaining the troops have always been near and dear to my heart. And I brought a cheat sheet here, so I just want to thank you all for the service, for your service. I have a little story. In the late 60s, I had this dream of entertaining the POWs in North Vietnam. I wrote to Nixon, I wrote to the State Department, and believe it or not, they gave me the red, the green light. And so we worked together with the USO, and we worked for about 6 months, back and forth, and it never happened. And then I got the Bob Hope tours, and this is so strange. My father, bear with me. My father was an Air Force pilot in World War II. And 79 years ago, baby Janine Shute, future Jan Daly, was born. And so my father was eager to get home. The war was over, and there was delay after delay, and so he decided to, God, when you get old, you just tear up with me. So sorry. He decided that he would volunteer to pick up POWs and was shot down. So I never got to meet him, and that was always a hole in my heart. And I think that's why I wanted for him to see me entertaining the military. And I carried with him to all the times that I entertained military. And I'm barreling through this, but I always carried his spirit with me. And I hope that he was proud. And Dad, how about tonight? I remember my very first time on the Bob Hope tour. I looked out at this vast sea of faces, and all I could think of, God, please bring them home safely. And I just so happy to be here with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. For what it's worth, my sainted mother on her deathbed asked if I was coming, and she called me Old Blubber Gus. My sister said, who are you talking about? She said, you know who I mean. That guy who cries all the time, my oldest son. So you're not alone in this one. There's a gentleman named Bob Parsons who is scheduled for our next award. And he had, we don't know exactly, but some sort of health complication this weekend. He decided not to come this evening. But we're going to go ahead with the award for him, and hopefully give it to him in person, maybe in New Orleans next year or whatever. But this is the presentation. The award goes to self-made entrepreneur, marketing wizard, and philanthropist, best known as the founder of GoDaddy.com and PXG Golf. He grew up in Baltimore, joined the Marine Corps in April 1968, just before graduating from high school at 17, and served in Vietnam as a rifleman in the 1st Battalion, 26th Marines, based on Hill 190, operating out of Quang Ngai Province. About a month into his tour, he was seriously wounded after touching off a tripwire while on patrol, which peppered both of his, this says both of his left elbow. So he was serving even though he had 2 elbows on his left arm with shrapnel. He was...
Both of his legs.
Okay. We shouldn't be laughing. He was medevaced out of the bush, and after treatment in Vietnam and U.S. Naval Hospital in Yokosuka, Japan, he healed and volunteered to return to his unit, which did not happen. He served out the rest of his tour in Okinawa, mustered out of the Marine Corps, came home, graduated from college, started a family, had success after success in the business world. His book, Fire in the Hole, The Untold Story of My Traumatic Life and Explosive Success, came out earlier this year, and many of you have had a chance to see him before the banquet. Oh, this didn't happen. None of you got a chance to see him at the book signing. Didn't happen. Vietnam Veterans of America proudly presents the 2024 VVA Lifetime Achievement Award to Bob Parsons in absentia.
I just found out that I'm GoDaddy. those folks know that already, you know. Listen, this has been a great, great event, and I'd just like to express our thanks to all the people that participated and came out and part of this. This is not an event just of BVA, this is an event of AVBA and BVA and all of our staff and people that have done such a hard job of putting this together. This is a bugbear. I got to tell you, this is not easy to do. And today, world with the airlines and the hotels doing whatever the heck they want to do, and then they snuck this fire guy in the desert somewhere out here. But I want to express special thanks to the staff members of VVA that are here, and those that aren't here. They make our lives better every day, and they're working for us every day. Let's give them a round of applause. At this point, what I'd like to do is I'd like to bring Troy Evans back up on the stage for a special presentation. John is going to present the award. This is the Vietnam Veterans of America. This is to certify that the VVA Achievement Medal has been awarded to Troy Evans, given in the city of, well, I'm going to be nice, Reno, Nevada. And on the 24th day of August 2024. And past President John Moon is presenting the award. And congratulations, Troy, and thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much. I'll be quick. I was so relieved when he said he was calling me back up. I thought it was for a spanking. I thank you so much for having me. You know, I love all of you, and this gives me fuel to, you know, to go through the whole next year with the joy in this room. Let's give all of us a big round of applause.
Now, and usually it's traditional for the president to say farewell by giving an hour and 20-minute speech. But I'm going to relieve you all of that. And what we're going to do is a special treat. We're going to bring back Jan Daly. Come on up, Jan, and I understand you have a treat for us. Thank you.
I just was told about an hour ago that I was going to be doing this, so this is a treat for me to be able to not blabber through the whole thing. I hope not. Anyway. God bless America. Oh, don't do that. Land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light above, from the mountain to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America. God bless America. God bless America. My home, sweet
That wraps it up. Godspeed, safe home. See you all in New Orleans. Good night. Thank you.